Okay, so today I have the great pleasure of having Good Graeff join me on the alleyway. So we've got a dynamic duo, twin sisters in fact, who make up this folk-charged indie pop band where Brooke is on guitar and lead vocals, and Brit, we have you on cello and backup vocals. So welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, life on the road, tour life. Wow. I'm so glad that we finally have been able to make this happen.
I know. Thank you for being so patient. It's so unpredictable and we never know what's going on. So
For sure, for sure. I'm just glad to have you here. So, for people who are not familiar with your story, let me get this right. After rocking it out with Battle of the Bands in high school, victoriously so, in Sarasota, Florida, you both took two different paths for 6 years, the next 6 years, until you ended up together again in Hanoi, Vietnam, where you taught English and conducted motorcycle tours throughout the countryside. Then you both came full circle and started playing music together again. And here you are once again stateside, rocking it out, tour life like you do. Is all of that correct?
you did your research. You nailed
that was actually perfect.
Because you know what? You can't make that stuff up. I mean, that's incredible. So,
Except the years I was a goblin hunter. You forgot that part.
and the goblin hunting.
Goblins.
So, my goodness. Where I don't know where to even begin. I guess first question for me is, what's it like to travel with your sister? Best of friends always, or do you find that it's family feud on a regular basis? What's the dynamic between you two?
I would say mostly best of friends with the occasional family feud.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
Yeah. Like any siblings, we fight. You know.
Stop taking those tones with her. It's so unfair.
Can you just not interrupt me?
I'm
for,
just
10
trying to have a
seconds?
conversation.
Can we just?
I can see
So yes, of course we fight sometimes. We're in a super stressful career right now, and we're constantly driving. We're up really late. We sometimes have to wake up early.
Really
Yeah, she's not driving, but the rest of us are. Yeah, of course, tension rises and we fight, but I wouldn't say that it ever lasts longer than.
We're pretty good at communicating.
Yeah, like if I'm really upset, I'm going to talk to her about it and just end it because it sucks being on the road and being mad with somebody. So, yeah, we're really good about resolving our issues, I would say.
I think also at this point we've toured so much together that we know the things that are going to trigger each other.
I know exactly what she's going to do to make me upset. So and we've talked about it so much that I know I just need to get it out of my mind. And I'm sure the same is for
like
you.
I'm not allowed to use her toothbrush. I know that now. I'm just kidding.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that the two of you have found a way to preserve, this beautiful bond that the two of you have. Question now is this. So twins can be very much the same or very much different in terms of how they look, but also in how they act, their personalities. So my question is this. I'd like each of you to answer this by defining the other in the form of an instrument. So, Brooke, let's start with you. If Brit was an instrument, what instrument would she be?
Cello?
No, you can't say, well, she is this because she plays it.
Cello
Well,
is
she
a perfect
is.
representation of her. It's very fragile, delicate. You got to take care of it. It's maybe sensitive to different climates, but everybody loves it because it mimics the human voice. I don't know how you can relate that in terms of personalities, but I think everybody finds this charm about the cello, and so everyone's like, oh my god, I had a love affair with cello forever. And I think Brittany comes off as kind of intimidating because of her muscles and stuff, and so I think people find the cello rather intimidating because it has no frets and you use a bow, and who the hell knows how to play a cello.
Awesome. So she is what she plays. She is what she plays. You are what you eat, and you are what you play.
Honestly, I feel like the cello is good because I think of it as more of a slow, mellow instrument, and that's kind of me. I take time to process things, and I'm not moving anywhere quickly. For Brooke, her instrument, I'm gonna say old time Nolan's like jazz bands. Brooke's the clarinet in that music. Like the music that's like it's just like super charming. Super charming, like fits into everything and just like I don't know, like but kind of like stands out of the music. So that's what I would call
That's
Graeff.
super flattering. I love jazz clarinet.
Who doesn't?
Right?
And that's what I mean. You know, it's the same with you. You're so charming, so it works.
That's fantastic. So she's jazzy and sassy, and that's her
Super
vibe.
fancy, yeah. And like, I really think that the jazz clarinet, like, it's a really
I'm just so
good.
glad you didn't say harpsichord.
We just had a long discussion about the harpsichord on the way here.
Of course you did, because why wouldn't you? Okay, so you bought a van to tour in and named it Roosevelt after Eleanor's famous quote, which you reference, which I really love that you do this, that says, "Do one thing every day that scares you." That's one of my favorite quotes as well. So I'm vibing with you guys. I mean, I'm not in the twin faction here, but I feel connected. So
Well, for right now, it's just triplets, you know?
Well, I mean, we look damn near the same, so I mean, it just makes good sense.
It's close. It's really close.
So my question is for both of you to answer, what is one thing you've done that has scared you the most? I mean, when I'm looking at the stories that you have to tell and all these things that you've done, the places you've been, and curious to know an answer to that question. If you could think of knee-jerk reaction, one of the scariest things that you're like, that's scary as hell. What was it?
I like the first thing that comes to mind was that New York City in the rain last year. Do you mean just like anything in general that
Like,
scares us, or
thing that
a
we've done?
moment in time that was like, holy shit, this is super scary?
Oh yes, the latter, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna say New York last year.
Mine's that school in Vietnam.
Oh,
for sure.
that's
That
a
was
really-
the scariest moment.
Okay,
ever.
tell.
Okay, so I was I got
You have to do a short version though. 'Cause it's
I know. I'll do a
short.
short. I'll do a short version. So I got a job at this kindergarten, and I didn't vibe with it. It was a private school, and so after like the third class, or whatever, I quit, and I put in my notice, and I offered to help them find teachers, and they were like, "Well, can you do this speech?" And I was like, no, I don't really want to do this speech. I'll help you find someone about the importance of learning English at an early age. And so help them find stuff. And it becomes very apparent to me how racist they're being about choosing the person that they're like, no, we just want you. You've got blue eyes and light colored hair. You're an American. I was like, well, that's kind of silly. They end up blackmailing me. They won't pay me the money that they owe me for the classes unless I do that speech. But I was working in another school that day of the speech, so I had to tell the other school, hey, I'm being blackmailed, I'm being threatened to not get paid. And then after I thought about it, I was like, wait a second. I'm not going to let them bully me around. It's just, however much money I can make that back. So I said no. And the girl called me on the phone. She's like my age. And she called me on the phone. No, my
And I'm there the whole time, like, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
And I was
just
like,
stay strong.
I was like, you know what? You can't threaten English teachers. This is not fair. I don't want you to think that your school can get away with this. I want you guys to learn from this lesson. Well, being the hearted person I am, I ended up agreeing to do it. But I wanted to be paid double what they owed me. And I would shorten the speech by half, and I had to have the money in hand when I got back.
Damn! Look at you.
So I get to this.
Right? She put her business pants on.
I put my business
so
pants
proud.
on. So then I get to the school, and the mother runs it. The mother is horrifying. The father works in like the government or something, and I don't know how the family has so much money. And
not typical for Vietnam.
Not typical. And she sits me down, and she just takes my hand like this, and just
She's
holds
squeezing
it.
hard.
I'm squeezing hard right now. And just won't let go of my hand. And it's like a dance recital thing of like all these kids. I'm loving it, but this woman is not letting go of my hand. So she doesn't speak any English. She's like, we're getting out of here. And so we start walking down these alleyways, and we go turn, 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 turn. She's not letting go of my hand. She's like picking it up over like obstacles. She leads me into the school and just puts me into this room. And I was left in this room for like 15 minutes. I was like, what's going on? Then she comes in and leads me to a room of all government officials and cops.
Oh,
I'm
Which
kind
is
of
like the
working.
scariest thing you can ever encounter in Vietnam because it's so corrupt, and we're kind of working there on tourist visas.
We're
We don't
totally
have
illegal.
licenses. Yeah,
my
so it's
word.
like not a cool situation.
And so it's like a room full of these like old male police and government people, and they just had me sit there, and I'm like, everybody's talking in Vietnamese, but I'm like, yeah, like laughing, like trying to, be cool about it, and inside I'm like, I'm gonna be now blackmailed for like thousands of dollars. Like they're gonna try and take my passport. They're gonna do something. I don't know what. They bring me into another room and they leave me there for another like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, why did I come here? Why did I do this to myself? The mother comes in, starts going off in Vietnamese. The daughter finally shows up. I don't know where she was the whole time. Shows up. It's like, my mother is so sorry. She didn't mean to threaten you. Just, you don't have to do the speech. We would just love it if you had dinner with us. And I was like, I'm getting out of here. Like, call a cab. This was the worst experience of my life. And she's like, I just really hope we can hang out sometime and be friends. It's like, no. And so that was the scariest moment of my life, I think.
But she left with the cash in hand.
Didn't have to do the speech, and I got some free food.
Nice. So you scored in the end, but yeah, friends don't threaten friends. That's not the way it works.
No,
Not at all.
Enjoy your secret boyfriend in the city. I don't care.
Have your way. Yes. So that is what. Yes. Now I can see why that would be like on the list of terrifying things, like right there. What was this other situation you're talking about? New York. Something terrifying in New York that happened to you?
This is more like related like to Good Graeff.
Yeah, mine's not related to Good Graeff at all.
That's just like a terrifying situation to be in. Yeah, this was so we were on tour. We traveled with a giant spare tire, as if our van wasn't tall enough. It already has a 10-foot clearance. We added a tire on the top, just in case we broke down, and that sat on top of our AC. So
and just precariously strapped.
It was really just like hanging out there. We're in like downtown New York, driving around, and the roads are crumbling apart. It's like ice raining outside because it was freezing. And Brooke is like deathly ill, and I don't have any of the other bandmates with us, so it's just the two of us.
And I'm like fevering in the seat.
And she's like, I was like, like sick moaning. And so I'm driving, and all of a sudden, all the cars around me start laying their horns on, and I'm like, what am I? I'm in the lane. I'm not speeding, but I'm also not driving too slow. Why is everyone freaking out? Some lady pulls up to me, rolls her window down, which it is way too cold to roll your window down. So I roll mine down. She's like, that tire just fell off your car. And I was like, oh my God. Pull over.
And she's like, it just kept rolling.
Yeah. So I pull over and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine, but that thing just kept on rolling. And I was just so shaken up from like the idea of like, I mean, van tires are not like car tires. They are huge and they're heavy. And the thought of this flying off the van
in the rain,
in the middle of traffic at night was just the most terrifying scenario. And she's telling us where I can find this tire, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about the tire.
I'm like, leave it.
I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just glad your car's okay. Some dude can salvage that, and that was absolutely terrifying. I do not like driving. I would say just in any major city at night in the rain with a sick navigator sucks
for sure.
So
it's not ideal. Not ideal for sure.
So that happened last tour. So I think that's why that, like, when you said something that scares you every day, I was like instantly like driving New York in the rain with a spare tire. Terrifying.
Interesting. So we have threats in Vietnam, and then we have tires in New York. I mean, terrifying things, you know.
Nerve-wracking, you know. So it's not like the tire was flying at me. That would be a very different scenario.
Right. So you were on the good end.
I was on the good end of that stick.
That's a bad karma.
Yeah, like you're right. It's totally good. Hey, but I stopped and like made sure everyone was okay. So
which is a responsible, good thing to do. So
right,
good.
I just felt super bad. So yeah, those are scary things.
They are scary things for sure. So let's see. What is your favorite thing? So one of you can answer what is your favorite thing about touring, and the other can answer what is your least favorite thing about touring.
Naturally, I'm gonna say you should do your least favorite things. Because I love like pretty much every part of touring. I like sleeping in the van.
But I love that too. That's so nice.
Love playing shows. I love meeting people. I like that I get to like visit my friends all over the country. Like I'm now. I like meeting people a lot.
I would say my least favorite things about touring are you're in a really small space with 4 people. So you're like, your dirty clothes just get thrown all over the place. Like the hide the granola bar wrapper game is like, it was cool for a couple of years.
I love that game.
But it's like, so I think just always, just being on a schedule. Like
Yeah.
after tomorrow, we don't have 13. We have 13 straight shows, with only a day off, and then like another stint like that. So always having to be somewhere, and like it's always a time crunch. It gets really exhausting after a while, and I'd say that's like my least favorite part of it. But I'm like, for the most part, it's awesome. I'm a homebody, and we travel with our van, so I can at least hang out in the van and always feel like I'm at home a little bit. So we're really lucky, though.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like a good time. It sounds like you find ways to entertain yourselves and
Totally.
with rappers and stuff, and that's great.
Yes, as long as the court's playing, we have something to talk about.
That's awesome. So, okay, so another thing for you is a couple more questions. Just one of them is, so I love the song "I Want That," and so I wonder if you could tell me just a quick story about how that story happened. And did you write? Do you work together to write, or where do these words come from? Where specifically with this song?
All in here, and right here,
and right here. So I wrote it. I went to New York to visit my sister and party, and I came back, and then I was supposed to go out with friends. And I was sitting at my friend's guest house, and I was just like playing guitar, waiting for my friends to come pick me up. And I just wrote it within like 10 minutes. Made everyone wait in the car while I recorded it, and then went out to meet them. And so it was super quick. And then I brought to Brit and was like, "Hey, I got this song." And then
well, that's like there's like a handful of songs that like Brooke just brains on. Like I think "Top of the World" was another one of them from Better Half, where she just sat down, had a song in her heart, and just cranked through it. And that's not always the case, but with that song, that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So my last question for the two of you today is, what's next? We're always asking, what's next? What's next for Good Graeff?
It's an exciting one. I think we're going to miss some dinner.
Yeah, so we have the EP coming out July 10th. We have a music video coming out before that with another single called Good Touch. Peaky Peaky just came out today for streaming.
We just did a day trotter. That's why we're running a little bit late.
Yeah,
so you can check out the day trotter, which has a couple new songs on it.
And we're not slowing down. So as long as our booker keeps booking us tours, we'll be on the road. And we're hoping that when we get back from this tour, we can start demoing out tracks for the next EP, because we already have the songs that we kind of want to do for that.
So keep writing music, keep touring, keep on keeping on.
Yeah, just keep providing people with entertainment on the road. So as long as the fans keep coming, we'll keep showing up.
Well, I think as long as you keep as long as you keep doing what you're doing, I don't think you have to worry about the fans, because they will be there, and there'll be more and more of them. It's such a pleasure to come to know of you and to just come to know you. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your life with us, and I'm looking forward to watching you rock it out the way that you do, because it's beautiful and it's brilliant. So thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for talking to us. Yeah.
All right. Cheers, you two.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.